What is up, guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lux, and in this tutorial we'll be making a steel cage by using this amazing modifier called the wireframe modifier. Now without further ado, let's just begin. Now first of all, we'll have to rename our cube to steel cage. While there's no need for you to do this, I just like to keep my scene organized. Well, let me fix that up and enter. Don't mind that. Now we have our cube here. Now tab out of object mode by clicking on tab. That's the hotcut key to toggle between edit mode and object mode. Now we have our cube, and our cube has quite a few edges. Now if we add the wireframe modifier now and turn it on, this is how our cube will look like. And the reason why it looks like this is because the wireframe modifier works with edges, I think. So as you can see, when we didn't have the wireframe modifier, this were our edges. As you can see, these are our edges, and the wireframe modifier works with edges. So if we add some more geometry to our cube, select all and subdivide, and there you go. And if you add the wireframe modifier now, it will look more like a steel cage. Now let us add the wireframe modifier, add it, and then check that to make it display in edit mode too, and tab out of edit mode, and as you can see now it looks more like a cage. Now another thing that you have to do, play with the thickness a little bit because it looks quite thin. Play with the thickness until you get satisfied with the thickness that you want, and there you go. Now that looks quite good. Now select your steel cage, mesh and shade smooth, and there you go. Now it looks more like a cage. Let me just fix that up real quickly because it's really bothering me. And there you don't mind it. Now we have our steel cage now. One for photographic view, and grab your steel cage on the Z-axis and Shift A. Actually, first of all, let us first start by adding the materials to our steel cage. Go to the settings tab. Ugh, I knew it. Okay, now there you go. We have our cube over here, and this is where we'll be adding some materials to our cube. Now first of all, let's rename this material to steel cage. Steel cage. I don't know why I keep typing like that. Cage, and enter, and there you go. Now what we want for our steel cage, we want a metallic look. So what we're going to do, first of all, we have the PBR node here, and make sure you have the PBR node too if you want to follow along. No, you don't need to have the PBR node, no, but it comes. Just don't mind. Now crank up metallic to something like 1, and there you go. Now it looks more metallic. And then I'm not satisfied with this color, so I will make the base color to something like silver, grayish, to a grayish color like that. I think that looks good. Now go back to your layout and go over there to materials view, and there you go. We have our steel cage, and that looks quite amazing. Now one for photographic view, and Shift A and add a plane and scale it up until you're satisfied with how you scaled it up, and there you go. That looks quite good. 0. Okay, now we need to scale up our plane more. Grab your camera up slightly and scale your plane a bit more again, and there you go. Now we have our scene. Now our plane has no material for now, but don't worry, we will add a wood texture. So go to your settings tab and then click on new and add a new material, and there you go. We have the PBR node again, and rename your wood, your wooden ground material to something like wood. and Shift A and add a texture. Add a image texture and drop it down there, and connect the color to the base color, and then open up an image texture, and I have it over here in the downloads, and there you go, open image, and there you go, we have a wooden texture, and it is looking quite flat now, and that's not what we're looking for. We wanted to have some depth. Well, there are two ways to do this, and I have a video that explains this in depth, and I will link the link down to I will leave the link down to the description below for you if you want to know how to add depth to your textures. So now let's go back to the layout and select your plane, and let's add a displace modifier. Let's call it displacement modifier, and then new, and rename the texture to wood, and enter. And there you go. Now set your texture coordinate to UV so that it works with with your plane's UV. And there you go. Now decrease the strength to 0.15 and enter. And then rename your plane to something like wood, then floor, and enter. And there you go. You have your wooden floor. Now there is still no difference on our plane, so what we have to do, let's just add the normal map image of our wooden texture. Open it up. I have my wooden texture and the normal map of my wooden texture, and there you go. You still see no difference though, and there's a reason why you see no difference. The strength is like, if you set the strength back to 1, you still see no difference. And the reason why you see no difference is because our plane has low geometry. So if we subdivide like 5 times, actually 6 times, and there you go. Now you will see the difference that our plane has now our normal map has now added some depth to our plane. As you can see here in solid mode 2, go back to your materials view and go to your modifiers and add a subdivision modifier, and there you go, it looks a bit smoother now. And crank up your viewport display resolution up to 2, and there you go. Now it looks a bit better and shade smooth, and there you go. Now you have your plane and your steel cage. One from the graphic view, and grab your steel cage a bit lower and make it aligned and be on top of your wooden floor, and there you go. You have your plane and your steel cage, and now what is left for us to do is to make the lighting. And what we'll do for the lighting, go to your rendered view, and as you can see, it looks quite dark. Just select your lamp and change it to something like sun lamp, and it's too bright, and it's because the strength is up to 1000. Just decrease it to something like 7 and enter, and there you go. Now it looks quite good. Now the last thing for us to do is to just render our image, and we will have a wonderful image of our steel cage. Now let us wait for a few seconds, and there you go. There you have your steel cage. Now save your image, save it, save image, and save it wherever you want. So I'll just save it as untitled PNG, and there you have it. There you have your steel cage. Now hope you've enjoyed the tutorial, and if you did, smash the like button, and please subscribe to support my channel. And if you've enjoyed it, comment down below and tell me that you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Adios, amigos.